And there's also Bros. I don't know if you watched that one.
I did. I didn't like it. It felt like exploitation film, like a gay exploitation. You know how black exploitation films exist? This was gay
Uh,
exploitation.
I never heard that word before. I guess it exists.
I'm coining it. I'm coining it now.
All right, I'll see it in the dictionary.
Cutiespectives is presented free of mid-roll ads, thanks to the support of viewers like you.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Cutiespectives, sharing the perspectives of people all throughout the LGBT spectrum. I'm Jasmine Page, and today I'm welcoming another very special guest to the show, dancer Taylor Holcomb. Thank you so much for being here, Taylor.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you as a guest.
Yeah, it's been almost like 11 years since we last talked.
I know, totally. For those of you who don't know, Taylor was one of my first friends when I moved to Texas. So like, I haven't spoken to them really since high school.
It's been a hot minute. I'm so excited to hear how both of us have changed.
Definitely, there's been some big changes with the both of us, I'm sure. So let's start off with some icebreakers. Why don't you just introduce yourself to the audience? Tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. So my name is Taylor. I work in human resources for a medical billing company. And then I also wait tables on the side. I'm trying to build up extra income to invest and get a house one day. I just met my goals for saving up for a house. So now I'm trying to build up my emergency savings now. But then once I'm done with that goal, I'm done waiting tables. I'm over it.
Oh my god, waiting tables.
Curricular stuff I like to do on the side. I like to dance. I post videos online. They're not like the 30-second hokey pokey videos. They're actually like at least a minute, and they're well thought out concepts. Like these aren't no like small TikToks I'm doing. They're real things. And then I like to travel. I've been trying to travel to all the states. I have a little
Oh my
map of the US.
god.
It's right by my bed. So when I wake up, I'm like, good morning, map.
That's amazing. I have seen like your Instagram and everything. You've been to so many places. I didn't know you like traveled that much though. That's so many states mapped off already. I've only been to like 3.
Well, you're more than happy to come with me to just a few of them. I have a few.
I would love to. I would love to. That sounds awesome. I'm actually going back to Florida next year if you wanted to tag along. I don't know if you're into emo music or not.
Emo music isn't much of my style, but I'm more happy to join for like the beach or
Heck
whatnot.
yeah! So let me start off by like complimenting you on your dancing. Like you're not really playing it up, but you should give yourself more credit. I think you are a fantastic dancer. So going off of like particularly involving your dancing in this field or any field rather, what is your experience with the LGBT community?
So overall, my experience with the LGBTQ community has been positive, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it or anything. I know that I have been very blessed with what I have experienced as like a cis white gay man, because I know it could be a lot worse in different parts of the country and if I was like a different race or whatnot. But I've had a really good experience, like as far as like back when I came out in high school, everyone was around me was more tolerant because I think they already knew ahead of time. I know you said like you had no idea, but like if you like really like looked into me, like into my soul, you'd be like, I think he's just a little fruity.
For me personally, like I'm just going to comment real quick. I didn't know anything about the LGBT community back in high school. Like you can see me from what I was then. That machismo kind of like 70s aesthetic. Nowadays, like I know I'm still learning, but
Right.
I didn't know anything about it that back then, so I just didn't see it coming. And we'll talk about that a little more. But how do you feel like in your particular field in dance, how the LGBT community is represented?
I feel like it's represented pretty well, if I'm being honest. We have our own little ballroom scene. The ballroom scene originated from the Black gay culture, I believe, if I'm referencing that correctly. But ballroom scene is pretty popular. Like, like some of the moves that I've used in the past, like a death drop, or what another term is called a dip, that originated from the ballroom scene.
Isn't that like where Vogue also originated?
Yeah, that's where Vogue originated as well, from like the underground clubs in New York. And like, I think it's just really fun to like do those dance moves. It's so much more different than like the traditional ballet where you're doing like pirouettes and jetés. Like the ballroom scene is a lot more energetic and a lot more attitude. That's how I feel about it.
Heck yeah, definitely.
But with being gay and dance, I sort of feel like they go together. It's a special way of expressing yourself. Like if I'm ever having like a rough day, I just go to the gym, I just dance my heart out. And if I'm having a great day, I'm like, I think I'll go to the studio today. Why not, you know?
Oh man, that's fantastic. In your particular opinion, what are your thoughts on the LGBT community as a whole?
So I feel like we have made progress, but there's always room for growth. I feel like we really need to band together when it comes to politics specifically, especially what's going on with the Trump administration right now. I won't go into too much detail about that, and then also I feel like we've become a lot more tolerant as of recent about like identities, specifically with like trans, non-conforming people, and so on.
All right, so that was how you feel about the community as a whole, but what about on an individual basis? Like either inside the community or outside, people viewing them as like individuals.
I feel like it can be really difficult to try to cultivate more personal connections nowadays. And not just in the LGBT community in specifics, but as a whole in society. Our ways of communication have changed so much in the past like 20 years. Like online dating is so much more common nowadays as opposed to it was back in like 2003. So I feel like it's been sort of difficult to try to cultivate really strong relationships with people as you get older as well. Because like back in college, I was making like friends left and right in the gay community. But since I moved to Houston a couple of years ago, I found it to be a little bit more harder to cultivate more connections.
Particularly regarding what you're saying about like how the older you get, it's harder to make those kind of connections. I feel like that's just like a natural thing for any individual, not just like within the LGBT community. I feel like it's a little harder sometimes because like it's a broad community, but like I think the majority of the population are not LGBT. So like it's harder for us in particular to find like those kind of connections within the community. But with that being said, since I know you live in Texas still, what is the LGBT community like in the area?
So I live in very populated areas. I lived in Austin and Houston. Those are like the really big places for gay people in Texas. So I don't feel like there's been like a lot of like pushback or conservative people in the area, because I live in these huge populous cities. But I haven't been to like other places like outside of Austin where like they say like, oh, gays should die or whatever. Like those people still exist today, which is so disgusting.
Of course.
I just wish like they could be more tolerant of that kind of stuff nowadays. But they might not have like the resources to like get into that stuff, but who knows? As far as like the population, the gay population, I feel like we really do come together when it comes to festivals, especially for Gay Pride. Houston Gay Pride really big. They have like 3 different big parts of like the park that they take over, and there's just so much to do. It's really fun.
Oh man, that's awesome. Like I love going to Pride events. I love going to like LA Pride. There's one that my fiance is hosting this year that I'm going to, and there's another one within the area. So like I think I'm going to like 3 different Pride parades or festivals this year. So
Yeah, gays, we like to party.
hell yeah. So let's move on to like your profession, quote unquote. I know you say that you're an amateur or like you're up and coming, I would say personally. But how did you in particular get into dance and why did it appeal to you?
So the reason why I got into dance is just because I liked performing. I was doing theater back in middle school, and our theater teacher introduced us to some dance moves like the grapevine, the jazz square, and then like I started taking dance classes at summer camp, and then in high school I got recognized for my dance skills. And then I got put in advanced dance. And then from there, I started taking private dance classes. And then I became a cheerleader my last year of high school. And then I continued on with my career as well in dance. And then I've also partnered up with a different dance studio at the time, back in college. And she helped me really refine my skills.
All right, nice. I remember when you became a cheerleader in high school. You were like our school's first male cheerleader, wasn't that correct?
I don't think I was the first one, no. But there's been like others in the past, but it was like all like very sporadic. But it was a really big honor.
Yeah, that was really cool. I was like really happy and excited for you. So from my personal view, dancing is like a huge example of body expression and movement. How you move and to what cadence can convey deep, complex emotion. How would you say dancing has broadened your view on life and in particular your way of expressing yourself?
So it's broadened my view on life as to where there are different things that you can do with your life. You're not just set on track. Sometimes it can be super frustrating whenever like I post like a cool dance video online and then I compare myself to somebody like Matt Stefania or Kelly Sweeney. Those are really big names in the dance community.
Yeah, you should never compare yourself to like professional people, especially if you're like online content creating. Like, you can look at those people as like main inspirations and everything, but it's kind of unhealthy to like compare yourself. Like, everyone starts from somewhere and you just gotta look at it from that angle.
Right, exactly. And the way that's broadened my horizons on life is that if I'm not good at something, it doesn't mean that I don't have to outright cancel it. I can just improve on whatever it is I need to do, and then I become a better dancer or a better person.
So with that being said, has dancing ever helped you through emotional periods in your life?
Oh yeah, most definitely. There's this one dance in particular. It's a Taylor Swift song called All Too Well. Have you heard of it before?
I'm not familiar with Taylor Swift's music, I'm sorry.
So it's basically about a love that has gone awry. And it's just, for me, it represents a time for me where I was really in love with this one person. And they just did something to me that just like shattered my heart into a million pieces. Like, I just had like a hard time moving on since that time. But when I made that dance and it all came together, I sort of felt like the healing journey started.
That's so fantastic to hear. I'm glad like you can like utilize like dance and the performing arts as a way of like getting heavy emotions out of you, because that's how I felt like about my content creation as well. And I feel like a lot of like creative individuals, like that's how they like get over like severe things like that and trauma.
That's what Taylor said. So why not just ride that coattail?
Exactly. How has dancing impacted you as a queer man in particular?
That's a really good question. I don't really know how to answer that. I just think of dance as just one thing about me. It doesn't really define me as a whole person. There's many avenues to a person. And, you know, it's really funny because I'm referencing a book that I'm reading in my HR job right now. It's called Braving the Wilderness. So Braving the Wilderness, it's about understanding your own values and who you are as a person and just basically being brave. And it also talks about people are hard to hate when you're up close. Like, for example, if you see like a Republican, just like a regular person, you're like, oh, I hate Republicans, blah, blah, blah. But if you get up close to them and really know who they are, it's one facet. So that's just how I like to think of myself. I'm a dancer, I'm gay, I like Pokemon, clearly.
It is like really fascinating to like hear that perspective sometimes. Like, for me in particular, like I see like when I see hatred and bigotry towards the LGBT community, it's almost never in person. It's always online. Yeah, we have like violence sometimes, but it's like a very bare minimum. And I feel like the people who are against us, like who say these hateful things, is like they're very vocal, but it feels like a minority sometimes, because like I've never like ran into like any like sort of hatred in person. So it feels so superficial to like read that kind of stuff online sometimes. If you like get like hate comments or something. For me, I just like think it's probably like some 12-year-old trying to be edgy or something.
Keyboard warriors, you gotta look out for them. They're crazy. So easy to do that online nowadays. Like, I almost feel like half the time when people go online, they just want to pick a fight with you. Like, they don't want to have a conversation. And like, if anybody were to like send me a comment or something that like they disagree with, I would hope that they would try to be more kind and approaching as opposed to being like, oh my god, you said this? Canceled.
No, in particular, like, I feel like the anonymity of the internet has brought out some of that hatred inside of people because they feel no repercussion for saying kind of the stuff that would feel like direct repercussions if they did these kind of stuff in person.
Right. It's just an easy way to hide yourself by going in a screen.
Yeah, exactly. It's like wearing a mask, you know? Not a face mask, but like, you know? So let's talk about like you coming out. Like, I know we kind of already talked about it briefly when you came out in high school. And I remember this in particular, like, when you came out, because like people were calling you gay and stuff before you even came out, and I was like you were like one of my best friends, so I was like defending you, like, no, Taylor's not gay, how can you say that? So like when you actually came out and people were saying no, Taylor's actually gay, I'm just like, no, Taylor's not gay. And I was so like I was surprised because like I didn't know much about like the queer community and everything about gay people or anything, because like, you know, I spent like my adolescence in Texas and you don't see a lot of that stuff there, like especially like the small town that we were in. So coming to California like really kind of opened my eyes with that kind of stuff. But like in particular for like especially in red states and stuff, for so many individuals, it's so difficult. Mm-hmm. It's a really difficult decision to eventually come out. Some people wait forever. Some people never come out, and it's a really tragic thing. What was your push or motivation for coming out as gay?
For me, it was just more on a personal level. Like, whenever I hear my straight friends like talk about girls or boys, I never felt like the gravitation towards women. I was like, they don't exist. Okay. But I felt like I was more like drawn towards the men. And like the people that I grew up with, I was like, oh yeah, like they're cool. I want to hang out with them more.
Yeah.
Cool. But in all honesty, I do appreciate you supporting me during that time. Mostly because I knew like they already knew most likely, but growing up in a small town that we're at, like you just think, oh, this is just the one little thing about my life. It's all what life is, just that one thing. But once you leave high school, the world opens up. And so having your support, like my other friends supporting me, I really do appreciate that because it helped me get to where I am today.
Yeah, of course. Like any time, like you were like one of my best friends, so of course I was going to like show you that kind of support. Like even if I didn't totally understand it at the time, like I honestly wish that I understood it at the time, because like for me, like it took me so long to get to where I am now. And this was during high school when I finally started like exploring like dressing up, and like it wasn't until like a few years ago where I finally came to a decision that like I'm non-binary, and I'm still making progress. Who knows, I might like transition in a few years. It's always like a different journey for everyone.
If you do transition, I'll also support you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's very pivotal for like, I know like high school is such a small bump in people's life, but it's very important because that's adolescence. That's when you're figuring yourself out, like when you're really trying to find your place in life. And not a lot of people get the opportunity to actually explore like their true selves. Like for me, it came out later in college, but for you it was like perfect. It's like perfect timing to like start exploring that avenue. And like honestly, like I wish I had like the knowledge and experience that you did, during that period, and I'm sure a lot of other people wish the same thing.
Everyone's journey to self-discovery is different, so I feel like if, as long as you came out or whatever, like it's better late than never. So I feel like
Yeah.
you're on the right track.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. I feel the same for like everyone else who's like going through the same journey. If like anyone's going through it right now, just like, you know, both our hearts, I'm sure, goes out to you, right, Taylor?
Right, of course.
So how was the experience coming out at such an early age?
I mean, I'm not gonna say it was easy because it definitely wasn't, but like I sort of felt alone. Like I had to brave the wilderness on my own, despite like my friends like supporting me. But I never really felt like I really got like the real gay experience until like after I left. I would have like a couple of boyfriends in high school, but dating in high school is such a joke most of the time. But I was sort of felt like oddly alone. Like I just feel like nobody really knows what I'm going through. Like, but what helped me go through it all was with the friends that I had. I had to make do with the cards that I was dealt. And so from there, I just knew that it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. There was a phrase like back in high school that I always remember from like a book author. There's 3 words. It says, "It gets better." I'm sure you heard of it, right?
I haven't heard that phrase specifically, but I've heard things like very similar. Main thing for me, like, and I'm sure a big thing for the trans community is she'll figure it out.
Hey, she'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I actually have a cousin who's trans now, so it's been nice to like reach out to her like whenever.
Yeah, that's great. It's great to have like people within your close family who are also LGBT. Like, I didn't get that luxury. I'm sure like so many other people don't have that kind of luxury, but like finding your community is like really important, especially like if you feel alone, and it's really hard, I know, like coming out. Just in general, like, but especially I'm sure in high school, like I didn't have that experience, but like I don't know, like in high school, like a lot of kids like to be edgy or anything. Like they use the FA word a lot, like especially like the millennial and kind of like elder Gen Z generations. And I feel like it's still a thing nowadays. So it's like you experience this kind of like bigotry, even though it's like offhand. It's like still like these kind of microaggressions. It feels like for so many people, like for me in particular though, like I felt like would it be a wise thing to even come out if there is so much like hatred? But it's coming out and realizing what that was back then. It wasn't really hatred. It just was more
Like intolerant.
It's more ignorance than anything.
Yeah, it's all very different. I mean, the world has changed so much in the past like 20 or 30 years now. If you ever recall, there's a really good movie called Prayers for Bobby. It's about this boy who's in high school. He's from a small town like we are, and he comes out. He has problems with like his mother and his family, and there's like a lot of drama between the two, and like the boy eventually like ends his life because he's so miserable.
Oh no, it's a sad ending.
But I feel like if that were to happen like nowadays, like it's not really much of a thing because a lot more people are more tolerant of the LGBTQ people now.
Right, exactly. Like I said this like on like a previous guest, how a lot of media depicted LGBT individuals in such a tragic light, like Boys Don't Cry, The Crying Game, all the ones with the crying in it, Brokeback Mountain, and all these ones like have such like tragic endings, but that's not the entirety of the queer story. Like, yes, that kind of stuff happens, but like there's also a lot of positivity nowadays, especially. So I'm glad to see like so many pieces of media starting to reflect that.
Yeah, a lot of the newer movies are depicted in better light for the LGBT community. Like Love, Simon, that's a really good one.
Oh, Love, Simon, yeah.
And there's also Bros. I don't know if you watched that one.
I did. I didn't like it. It felt like exploitation film, like a gay exploitation. You know how black exploitation films exist? This was gay exploitation.
I never heard that word before. I guess it exists.
I'm coining it. I'm coining it now.
All right, I'll see it in the dictionary.
One of my favorites are Moonlight. I love Moonlight so much. It's like a hard time for the individual, but like it has like a happy ending, and
yeah,
that's more accurate than how films used to be, where everything is just tragedy. Like, yeah, bad stuff happened, but that's kind of how life is. Like, you can still have a happy ending even though life was hard. But let's dial it back because we kind of got a little off topic. How different do you think your life would have been if you had waited or potentially never came out?
So if I waited like until after high school, I don't think it would have made much of a difference. Mostly because I feel like after I left high school, my life really started to change and for the better. I got more in touch with our community. I just felt more comfortable in my skin. Like the first day of college, I actually made friends with another gay person. And that wasn't even intentional either. Both of us just took the wrong math class and like we just started talking afterwards. But if I never came out, I would probably have to say I wouldn't be happy. I would just probably be like a shell of myself. I'll probably be with a woman, not very happy. She would probably not be very happy with me either because I wouldn't touch her or anything. You know, a couple of my girlfriends I had in high school, or one I guess. I think you remember her. I'm not gonna say her name right now. But like I never like kissed her or anything. No, she never got any action from me, so she would be very dissatisfied with what I would give her.
Yeah, it can be like a scary thought to think like about potentially never coming out. Like we were talking about movies earlier, one that came out recently was I Saw a TV Glow. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No.
Oh, okay. So like spoilers, but the movie is basically like about a trans individual who like goes through this journey of self-discovery, but in the end decides to not transition. And you know, it's slated as like a horror film, but there's not a lot of horror in it. The real horror comes from like
an identity crisis.
Neglecting like your identity and not actually following through with who you know yourself to be. And the movie's great. I never want to watch it again because it makes me so sad, but it really made me reflect on like, what if like I never came out? And what if there's people out there who never come out and they feel like this, like you said, this hollow shell of a person? It's such a sad thought.
Yeah, it really is. But thankfully, people are becoming more tolerant about that nowadays. So it's more embraced now than it was in the past. So we are making progress.
Yeah, it's very pivotal. Like if anyone's watching this right now and they are like apprehensive about coming out, like in my view, like the sooner the better. But as you said, like it's better late than never, you know? All right, well, dialing it back to like your performing and everything. As long as I've known you, you've been pursuing the performing arts, whether it was in theater with acting, now dance, that cheerleading that you did in high school. What attracted you to the path of the performer?
I have no idea, honestly. I just remember like, I guess I like the fame, like the thought of like being loved. I think it's just a really powerful thing. To know like, oh, people admire you because of like a specific skill or whatever. I think it's like a dopamine hit that really gets me. And so I guess I just like putting out content like that. And it's also just a fun way to express yourself. Like you don't have to be yourself. You can just be like an old man, or you can be a scary person. For the House of Torment, haunted house I was at, you would never guess what I was.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't.
A clown.
Oh, a clown. Oh my god. Oh, of course. Like one of the most generic things in haunted house nowadays. The clown.
I was in a special room. I was in a tilt room. So people had to go up an incline around me. and I got to spin around in a tricycle singing nursery rhymes.
Ah, that's so fun.
I thought that was fun. I mean, the pay was, but it was worth it.
Oh yeah, of course. Like, oh wow, you got paid for being in haunted houses? Like, I remember I've been in a couple of haunted houses myself, and like, I didn't get paid anything. I got paid for the experience because it was kind of fun still, you know?
That's good. It's a part of the experience too, so.
Yeah, totally. Now that you've come out as a gay man, has your view of the performing arts changed at all?
No, not at all. I think performing arts and being a part of the LGBT community goes back way, way back, like to like the Greek times. Back when women weren't allowed to perform, they had men dress up in wigs and stuff, and they would go out there and perform. I think that was just a really silly excuse for a man to put on a wig and not be judged for it.
Yeah! I mean, there was also like, in China, like, it was the same kind of situation because there was this period where like women weren't allowed on stage. So like, that's where this one Chinese movie, I doubt you've heard of this, and I'm sure like not a lot of people have, but there's one of my favorite Chinese films is Very Well My Concubine, which is about like I think it was the 60s in China when they had that huge cultural revolution, and like these two actors like fell in love with each other. It's another like gay love story that ends in tragedy, unfortunately, but it's such a beautiful, moving film. And it's banned in China, of course, because like all the good Chinese films are banned in China. But for me, the performative arts is, or from my perspective, the performative arts is big for the LGBT community. I know you said this yourself. Queer individuals are almost like the backbone of the industry.
Yeah, we really are.
It's really hard to see theater and dance existing without the queer performer taking center stage. In your opinion, how does yours and others' queerness help to shape the performative arts?
I think it helps in the more of the outside perspective. So like if you were like, let's say like if you were like a young gay boy who hasn't came out yet, and you saw someone perform and like you knew they were gay and like you saw how happy they were, you could be like, that could be me. That could be me one day. So I think it's really important to show like, hey, like you can make it out in the world no matter who you are or what you identify as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah, that's like one of the most important things. It's like you can have your fun just as long as it's not hurting anyone.
From an individual basis, like such as myself, I'm just posting these videos out for fun. I'm not trying to make a cultural impact. I'm just doing this for my own personal passion. But I think it'd be really important to encourage other people to, if they want to put out dance videos, they're more than happy to, or like acting videos too. Because I feel like after high school, like I sort of feel like a lot of people drop off from dance. Like it makes me sad almost for them because I'm like, you're gonna drop your passion? Really? I can't imagine doing that. I would be so sad.
Yeah, I feel that's like the same with like a lot of extracurricular stuff. After high school, like people just kind of grow out of it and take a desk job or work on automobiles or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you always want to live life to the fullest. So I say if it's your passion, then go for it. And if it helps others get out of their shell and do what they're passionate about too, they should. We're only on this planet once.
So do you want to like elaborate on like your personal views on like how queer people like has shaped the industries of dance and theater and the performing arts?
I feel like we've always been a part of it when it comes to performing and just in general existing in that sort of environment. Like I said about the Greek times, the men would put on wigs and be women. And also part of like the ballroom culture as well, including the drag scene, especially with the Stonewall riots that happened.
Yeah.
I think like a trans person threw like the first brick. And so they were sort of, I think it was Marsha P. Johnson.
That's right. Yeah, I was trying to remember her name. Yeah. Thank you.
I know, she was like a totally beautiful woman. Yeah, absolutely. She threw like the, and like that's what started like the rights movement from there in New York. I believe.
There's also like the underground clubs like Paris is Burning and everything, starting like these whole like cultural movements that like really impacted like different types of arts, like especially like dance. And like drag shows, like in particular, like those were like huge. Like they're still huge to this day, I feel like, especially with like RuPaul's Drag Race.
It's bigger than ever. Oh my god. It's so insane. So like I tried doing drag in college, but I just never really got into it because I didn't like the point of like shaving everything and putting on
Oh my
makeup.
god.
Whatever. But I thought like the cutest drag name ever. So I called myself Hazelnut because I
Yeah.
have green eyes. I'm just a little nutty.
Oh my god. I thought you were gonna say something a little NSFW with the nut part. Because a lot of drag queens typically do that.
Are you watching the new season currently?
No, I don't really watch it myself. I've seen like a few episodes and everything, but like I'm not really a person that like consumes a lot of like competitive media, you know? That's like one of the reasons why I never got into drag, because I know it's like such kind of like a cutthroat competitive kind of thing, and I'm not like into sports or anything, you know? So I'm just like happy being me.
It doesn't have to be competitive. Like if you wanted to go to like a ball and drag, you could.
Yeah, I mean it's something that like I've thought about before. I might do it in the future. Who knows? I do like being on stage, and like I don't know. I'd have to like maybe lose a little more weight and get a little bit more like dance moves like you got.
And you know what? Sometimes drag queens can just do park and bark. And like if the mug is right and if the outfit is right, you can just get good tips from that.
Oh, great. Well, I'll consider it for the future.
It's all just for fun though. Like no one really does drag to
Definitely.
make like real money. Unless you go on Drag Race and become like a huge celebrity.
Right, that's probably what I was like viewing it from, because like I don't have like the proper experience for doing drag. Do you have any advice for people like us who are pursuing dance in particular?
I would say the advice that I want to give is just be yourself. Don't copy other people on like Matt Stefania or Kelly Sweeney. They have really cool dance moves, but like I get really tired of seeing the same dances from different people.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's hard to be original nowadays, but if you can, try to be original, please. It would entertain me so much more if you were more original. That's what I have to say. It's not like the most nicest thing to say, but take it with a grain of salt.
Just be yourself, be original. That's still excellent words of advice. All right, that about wraps up my questions. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Remind everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, so I can be on Instagram. I don't really post a lot on TikTok, so just follow me on Instagram. My handle is Jimmy Taylor 756.
Thank you so very much again. Please go check them out in the links in the description. Show them all the love and support. This has been cutiespectives. I'm Jasmine Page, and I'll see you all with another very special guest next month. Until then, take care of yourselves and have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to share your perspectives down in the comments below and let me know who you'd like to see in a future video. See you next time!